All right, welcome to this explainer. I want to kick things off by having you do something incredibly simple. Seriously, wherever you are right now, just close your eyes for a second. Now, vividly imagine the smell of hot bread coming right out of the oven on a Sunday morning. Or picture the smell of the sea at dawn. Maybe even the perfume of someone you once loved. Did you feel that? Because before you even consciously processed a single thought, an entire world, a whole rush of emotion and physical feeling just washed right over you.
So, what specific childhood scent instantly transports you across the decades? The source material shares this amazing story about Dr. Ari Masudi. He's a molecular biologist. When he was just 4 or 5 years old, his mom bought him a vanilla ice cream. Now, he doesn't remember the vendor's face, he doesn't even remember the season, but he remembers that smell. Fast forward decades later to a high school party when he was 17. He catches a whiff of vanilla perfume on a young woman. Completely different context, right? But he was instantly transported back to that exact feeling of childhood discovery, lightness, and just absolute vertigo.
And you see, when something like that happens to you, it's not just nostalgia. We're not talking about mere sentimentality here. This is hard physical neurobiology happening in literally a fraction of a second. Smell is completely unique in our biological wiring. In fact, it is the only sense that has absolutely no filter between the outside world and your emotions.
Section 1. The Power of Memories. Let's look at how the brain actually stores these intense olfactory memories, because it is wildly different from how we remember the rest of our lives. Think about your visual memory. If you try to recall a beach vacation, your brain kind of stores it like a static photograph. You can picture the sand, the water, but you don't instantly feel the burning heat or hear the crashing waves. But olfactory memory, smell, doesn't store a picture. It stores the entire emotional and physiological package. If you were to smell that specific beach sand again, maybe decades later, it wouldn't just be a fuzzy memory. It brings back the exact feelings of lightness, confidence, and warmth you felt in that exact moment. Your body is physically reliving that state.
Section 2. The brain's customs. So why does smell have this superpower to just hack our emotions and memories? Well, it all comes down to a part of the brain called the thalamus. Think of the thalamus as the brain's very strict, no-nonsense customs officer. Imagine you're standing in a super loud, busy train station. You've got hundreds of people, clacking suitcases, freezing wind, pigeons everywhere. But you don't consciously process all of that, do you? Because your thalamus filters out the useless noise so you can focus entirely on finding your arriving train. It censors what doesn't matter.
And this is where things get really fascinating. Sight, sound, touch, taste, they all have to stop at that thalamus customs checkpoint, where your logical brain can just veto them. But smell? Smell has a VIP pass. If a traveler walks past you in that chaotic train station carrying a hot bucket of popcorn, those odor molecules bypass the customs officer completely. They send an unfiltered electrical signal straight to your amygdala, your emotional center, and your hippocampus, which is your memory center. Boom! Instantly, your train ceases to exist, and you are just flooded with feelings of childhood, movie theaters, and comfort.
Section 3. Creativity versus AI. Now, we really need to look at this biological superpower in the context of our modern, screen-obsessed world. We live in a civilization that has hyper-optimized for the eyes and the ears, while totally ignoring our most ancient sense. I mean, school basically trained us to be biological calculators, right? To find the single correct answer. But in an age where artificial intelligence calculates, optimizes, and standardizes perfectly, our real, irreplaceable value lies in our human strengths. Our ability to deeply feel emotions, to freely associate, and to imagine things that don't even exist yet.
And that brings us to a huge realization. True creativity doesn't come from passively consuming more content. You literally cannot just listen to endless audio tracks or read textbooks to become more creative. Creativity is a cognitive function. It requires active stimulation of your brain's associative networks through your senses. When the logical, predictable world is completely automated, problem-solving absolutely has to become a multi-sensory, human-driven experience.
Section 4. 3 rituals to create.
Because of all this, I am incredibly excited to share how you can deliberately train your olfactory system to bypass your inner critic. The source material lays out 3 highly practical rituals you can start doing at home today. And these aren't just mystical wellness practices, okay? They are rooted in hard neurobiology designed to turn your nose into an active tool for thought.
Let's start with ritual number 1, the cognitive wake-up. For this, you'll want to grab some rosemary essential oil, specifically one containing the molecule 1,8-cineol. What is so incredible about this molecule is that it physically crosses the blood-brain barrier. It actually increases the availability of acetylcholine, which is a major player in boosting your memory and attention. So the ritual goes like this. In the morning, Before you grab your phone and let the whole world's notifications dictate your mood, just smell the rosemary. Then ask yourself two simple questions. What do I want to create today, and what problem do I want to solve? You are quite literally priming your brain's hardware for creativity.
For the second ritual, you can deliberately pair a scent with a specific context to build a psychological on button that instantly shifts your emotional state. Remember how Dr. Masudi was instantly transported by vanilla? Well, you can hijack that exact mechanism for yourself. If you exclusively smell lavender right after a super stressful workday, pretty soon just a quick whiff of lavender will tell your brain, hey, it's time to instantly power down and relax. On the flip side, if you pair mint with your most dynamic, high-energy moments, smelling mint will become an instant motivation button for when you need to crush a gym session or tackle a really tough project.
Then, maybe once a week, try the third ritual, undirected exploration. Take a scent you cannot easily name, something like rose geranium essential oil, which totally baffles most non-perfumers, and just smell it. Don't try to analyze it or figure it out. Because your logical brain can't easily slap a label on it, it starts opening up all the drawers of your memory, desperately searching for connections. This actually activates what neuroscientists call the default mode network. That's the exact brain state where you daydream, let your mind wander, and form highly original, totally unexpected creative connections.
Section 5. Your sensory superpower.
Let's bring this whole explainer together with one final, slightly rebellious ritual. We've talked a lot about essential oils and deliberate routines, but there is an everyday habit you can start that completely defies basic table manners. Did you know a staggering 90% of gustatory or taste information actually comes from smell? 90%. This is exactly why you should unabashedly sniff your food. Seriously, ignore polite rules. Sniff your coffee, your fruit, your dinner, just like you're a Michelin-starred chef. It actively trains your sensory attention in the simplest, most delicious way possible.
We have spent decades training our brains to spit out the single correct answer. But in a future where everything logical becomes totally automated, human perception becomes your ultimate superpower. Cultivating your senses isn't just about enjoying a nice fragrance. It's about giving your brain the raw, unfiltered material it needs to imagine, connect, and innovate. So I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder today. What hidden idea, what completely unlocked memory is waiting for you in a scent you haven't even smelled yet?